Okay guys, here we go again. I'm feeling down today. I'm not feeling good. It suddenly hit me that the general election is on Thursday, day after tomorrow. And I haven't really done anything to affect the outcome. And I think this is the most important general election of my whole life. And I've been raised in a Labour family. I've been brought up to support the Labour family, but the Labour Party, but I think I'm a fairly independent thinker. But in my whole life, there's never been a Labour Party. The Labour Party that won in 1997, when I was just 12 years old, and I was overjoyed at the fact that we had Tony Blair as a Prime Minister, as a Labour Prime Minister. That wasn't a Labour Party. That was the Tory Party light. And it did some good things and some bad things, but the terrible crime of Iraq, the war in Iraq, will be what I remember Tony Blair for now, and what most people will remember him for. So as far as I'm concerned, there has never been a Labour Party in office in my lifetime. And for the first time, going into the election, the leader of the Labour Party is actually a Labour man who stands for the true values of Labour. And some people within the Labour Party have seen that as a bad thing for some reason. The thing they didn't like about Jeremy Corbyn was the fact that they didn't think he could win. Well, we'll find out. We'll find out in 2 days if he can win. But if he doesn't win, I will feel terribly guilty that I didn't do more to get him over the line. I've messaged a few people, I've put a few posts on Facebook. I haven't gone door to door. I live in a conservative safe seat, and that's the thing. My vote most likely will not count, and this election is going to be won and lost in the marginal constituencies where it could go one way or the other. And it's strange to feel like your vote won't count, but I have a horrible feeling that we may be faced with 5 more years of the Tory government and Theresa May, who's been in bed with the Saudis, destroying the police and destroying the NHS. And as I've put on Facebook, it'd be a terrible wake-up call to find yourself in an NHS hospital having been saved by the police from a Saudi-sponsored terrorist attack. And the terrorism that we've seen in this country 3 times in the last 3 months, and countless times in Europe over the last couple of years, there is no doubt that it is Saudi inspired, Saudi sponsored. This doctrine came out of Saudi Arabia, and this is who Theresa May is cozying up to. It's unbelievable. So that is a depressing prospect. 5 more years. And ironically, as the polls were becoming closer, as Labour were gaining on the Tories, what happened? Terrorist attack. 2 terrorist attacks in 2 weeks. One in Manchester, one in London. And that type of incident will always have people running towards the so-called safety of a strong and stable government. But what the hell? This government has increased the chances of something like that happening, and increased the chances of you not surviving when something like that happens. And the gutter press have been repeating the mantra that Jeremy Corbyn is a friend of terrorists. Corbyn terrorist. Corbyn terrorist. It's disgusting. I'm lost for words to describe the hypocrisy, but it's like everything they tell you is the opposite of the truth. The hypocrisy of bringing up his so-called sympathy to the IRA when he actually went to Ireland and tried to put peace on the agenda. And there's actually a former member of the IRA in the Conservative Party. I can't put into words how it makes my blood boil. But yeah, another terrorist attack. Another week has gone by and another terrorist attack. I'm working security in London this weekend, and I've gone through the cupboard to dig out my stab-proof vest. And what a horrendous prospect to be threatened with. But the bigger picture is that it is a psychological threat, that we could be hit any time of the month, any day of the week by someone with an intent to kill. And there's been a lot of burying heads in the sand this week, and people keep repeating this phrase. I'll understand what they mean. They weren't Muslims who did this. A lot of people come out with some logic of, oh, how could Muslims do this during Ramadan? What, is it okay to do it at another time? No religion permits murder of innocent people, but these Muslims have a misunderstanding, a misinterpretation, a sick interpretation of that religion. But when people start throwing around phrases like, oh, they're not Muslim, why would they do it in Ramadan, and other talk that sounds almost like conspiracy theory, I'll be very careful to go down that road. The last video I did, I wore a tinfoil hat. I wore it for a joke. I did it to make a point. But I am a skeptic. I do question everything. I question 9/11. I question the moon landing. Not that it matters, but it's one of those things people up as a conspiracy theory. JFK. Don't get me wrong. There have been many conspiracies, many false flag incidents, false flag attacks. The Lavon affair. Google that one. The Lavon affair, if you want to find a false flag attack that happened in Egypt. But we have to face the reality that there are people who consider themselves Muslim. I know they don't follow it properly. I know they're not true to the teachings of the Quran, but they have a sick interpretation of it, and they consider themselves Muslim, and they carry out atrocities falsely believing that they're doing it to help the Muslim Ummah. And we have to face up to this. If we bury our head in the sand, we will never understand the issue. We'll be condemned to repeat ourselves, and we'll be watching other news stories about other terrorist attacks. We'll be having other concerts where everyone holds hands and says, oh, wouldn't it be great if we all get along? But we have to understand the ideology that has led us where we are. And if these type of people with this mentality are willing to go and fight in Libya and blow themselves up and blow other people up and chop people's heads off, in order to overthrow Gaddafi, and if they're cheered on every step of the way by the Western governments while they're doing that, and if the same people then take the weapons and the training that they've attained in Libya and head east to Syria and do the same thing again and kill more people, and are yet again cheered on every step of the way by the British and American governments, then why are we surprised when this type of fanaticism manifests itself on our own doorstep? I don't know the solution, but I know that electing Jeremy Corbyn this Thursday will be a step closer. We have to edge closer. I've been debating with people tonight on Facebook, and I have a friend who says, "Oh, well, I would never vote because I don't believe in partisan politics." All right, fair enough. I know partisan politics is rife with corruption and lies and broken promises. But this guy that doesn't want to vote, I know for a fact that his values reflect those of the Labour manifesto and of Jeremy Corbyn 10,000 times more than they do of Theresa May and what the Tory party can have to offer. But he's so, I would say, blinkered, closed-minded, I don't know, indoctrinated that, no, politics is bad, I must not vote. If you keep choosing the lesser of two evils, you will continue to get evil. But this time, I think there's such a stark contrast. If ever anyone needed to get off the fence and vote in a general election, this is the one. It's this Thursday. And I'm still feeling guilty that I didn't do more to get Jeremy Corbyn across the line. But maybe we can do it. Maybe if young people turn out in their millions to vote, we'll get there. I know that if the vote was only people under 40 years old, I know Jeremy Corbyn will win by a landslide. Yeah. For the many, not the few. And there are many of us, but we're sitting back and we're letting the few get away with it. I really hope on Thursday that we turn out in our millions and we get Jeremy Corbyn into number 10. I really hope so.